Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Hot Mic Show. I'm Bill Whittle for the second half of How Hollywood Loves Donald Trump, at Hollywood Conservatives anyway, Underground Hollywood. And by the way, don't forget to check out our coverage of the Kerry Guard event in Milwaukee that's starting tomorrow. My friend Grant Stinchfield's on the way over there, and there's going to be all kinds of fun people. And that should be pretty amazing coverage, I think, of a really terrific program. So let me just give you a little bit of what the resistance out here sounds like. You know, if they want to talk about their big resistance, they are the ones who are doing all of the oppressing. They're the ones with all of the violence. Hollywood Reporter is a newspaper that basically rivals Variety. It's one of the trade magazines. And Hollywood Reporter reached out to 50 people of a group called Friends of Abe, which is a group of conservatives in Hollywood. And they asked them if they still supported President Trump. And here's some of the answers they got. No way, too hot, there's no upside. And one guy said, "Are you trying to get me killed?" He's kidding, but he's not kidding. That's a gut-level reaction. Now, there are some conservatives in Hollywood who are literally above this, and the only one that comes to mind right now is Clint Eastwood. Guys like Clint Eastwood and Tom Selleck, you know, they're above this to the degree that they will be hired regardless of their politics. No one's going to turn down a chance to be in a Clint Eastwood movie because Clint Eastwood is a conservative. But at the bottom are all of the people who are either actors with one or two lines, or cast members, or they're extras, or they're people working on the sets, the costumes, the lights, who knows. But in the middle, there are a few actors who have spoken up, and this has cost them rather badly. One of the ones that we just saw a couple days ago is Scott Baio, who you remember from Happy Days and Joni Loves Chachi. Here's what Scott had to say. He says, "I don't give a blank about Hollywood liberals. They're going to hate the guy no matter what. If he cured cancer, they'd be on him for putting oncologists out of business." That's a great line, by the way, Scott. That's a really great line. Scott Baio goes on to say this: "All this does is help Trump because people have had it. Conservatives in Hollywood have had it. We know who Trump is, and we don't believe the propaganda, and I don't think most of the country does either. The media is almost irrelevant. It's predictable and boring. I want the man to get his agenda through, and everything else is a sideshow." That's exactly right. He's not alone. He sounds like he's alone, but he's not alone. Having been doing what I'm doing now for a number of years, basically standing up and, you know, turned a career as a TV editor into a political commentary career, which is a process I had nothing at all to do with, and certainly was never my intention. I just kind of fell into it. But having been in that position, I've had scores of people, countless Hollywood conservatives, come up to me and thank me for doing the things I do and saying the things I say, because these are the things that they want to say and they simply can't. Now, you can look at that as a kind of, well, you know, you guys should speak up more. But I would just remind you that this is their livelihood. This livelihood for them and their families. This is how they feed their families, their directors of photography or their grips or their lighting guys. And if they become known to be Republicans, and especially Donald Trump supporters, they'll never work again. And they have no way of proving it. Because out here in Hollywood, it's essentially a gig economy. You get hired for a job that may last anywhere from 2 or 3 days, and if you're really lucky, it might be 6 months, 9 months, something like that. And if it turns out that people find out you're a conservative, then they just won't call you again. You can't go to HR and say, "I'm being discriminated against," or "there's a hostile work environment." They simply won't call you again, and you'll have absolutely no way to know. My friend Evan Sayed had something to say. It was quoted in the same article. He said, he's talking about the president's support. And he says, "It's grown as the unhinged nature of the left has become desperate and hysterical." Yeah, that's right. So the support for Donald Trump has grown. It's grown among Hollywood conservatives, and my very deep conviction is that it's grown among the people that elected him. The people that elected him, I'm sure there's some people on the margins, but I think the people that elected him are watching the willful effort to destroy this president and his presidency and the half of the country that elected him, and they don't like it very much. So they're supporting him now just as a matter of principle. I'll just tell you one quick story about Hollywood conservatives before we're finished today. I watched the 2012 debates, Mitt Romney against Obama, with a bunch of conservatives in Hollywood. I did the same with the 2008 debates with Obama against John McCain. But in 2016, I did the same thing, although by now I was beginning to think this is not a pastime I find particularly pleasant. And I watched the first of the debates between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And we had probably 50 conservatives in a room in Westwood, which is a very, very liberal place. And the debate started, and Hillary had a statement, and Donald Trump had a statement. Then Hillary started talking, and Donald Trump started attacking her. He just went after her. He said, "Who are you to make a comment like that? You're the most corrupt politician in history." You remember those first half hour of the first debate where Trump just came out swinging. And all of us in that room, many people in that room were never Trumpers up until that point. All of us were on our feet cheering, and we were cheering because finally somebody was fighting back. Somebody's fighting back. Somebody's not just taking it on the chin. They're fighting back. And that is why we love Donald Trump. The more they oppress him, the more they try to bring him down, the better we like him. It's true for me, true for many conservatives in Hollywood. I'm sure it's true for you as well. That'll do it for this edition of the Hot Mike Show. We'll be back on Monday. I'm Bill Whittle right here on NRATV.